Are you ready to change your life in 2024? Imagine a future where the noise of society fades away, and you become the person you've always wanted to be. In this video, we'll explore how Stoic philosophy can guide you on this transformative journey. Stay tuned for a step-by-step guide that will empower you to reinvent yourself. The concept of self-reinvention and its deep significance. Self-reinvention is a concept that is often misunderstood in today's world. In an age of instant gratification and surface-level transformations, the idea of reinventing oneself may seem like just a quick fix or trendy self-help buzzword. But true self-reinvention goes far beyond superficial changes. It's not about buying new clothes, following the latest fitness trends, or adopting fleeting goals dictated by societal standards. No, the process of reinvention is much deeper, and its true meaning lies in the transformation of the soul. Self-reinvention is the courageous act of turning inward, examining who we really are, and then embarking on a journey to align our outer lives with our most authentic selves. It's not about conforming to the expectations that others place on us or chasing after achievements that society deems valuable. It's about uncovering the truest expression of who we are meant to be and then living that truth regardless of the external noise. As we approach the transformative year of 2024, this moment offers us an unprecedented opportunity to take a step back and reflect. Who have I been living for? Are my choices shaped by my own values, or am I simply reacting to the pressures around me? Self-reinvention calls us to examine the roles we've played in our lives, roles that have often been scripted by other people. These roles might have once served a purpose, but now they hold us back from realizing our full potential. The stories we've told ourselves about who we are and what we're capable of may no longer fit who we are becoming. True self-reinvention is about liberating ourselves from the chains of these outdated identities. It's a deliberate act of letting go. Letting go of old beliefs that no longer serve us. Letting go of limiting thoughts that have held us in a state of inertia. Letting go of the fear of change itself. And most importantly, letting go of the need for external validation. We must be willing to dismantle the layers that society has imposed on us, layer by layer, until we are left with the core of who we truly are. This is where Stoic philosophy becomes incredibly relevant. Stoicism teaches us that the world outside of us is largely beyond our control, and that the only thing we truly have power over is our own response to it. Marcus Aurelius, one of the great Stoic philosophers, once said, "The happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts." When we understand that the key to self-reinvention lies in our thoughts and perceptions, we can begin to break free from the tyranny of external circumstances. We are no longer slaves to the opinions of others, nor to the fleeting standards set by the world. We take full responsibility for our emotional and mental responses, and by doing so, we free ourselves to be the person we are truly meant to be. Self-reinvention is not an easy path, nor is it a process that can be rushed. It requires introspection, the willingness to look deeply within and confront uncomfortable truths about ourselves. It demands discipline to detach from the superficial distractions and opinions of others. And perhaps most challenging of all, it asks us to surrender the version of ourselves we've become comfortable with in order to make room for a higher, more evolved version of who we can be. But when we embrace this journey, we enter into a world of infinite possibilities. The Stoic practice of focusing only on what is within our control, our actions, our thoughts, our responses, lays the foundation for this transformation. This is the ultimate freedom, the freedom to be at peace with who we are, free from the need for external approval, free to live according to our deepest values, free to create a life that truly reflects the essence of our being. So when we talk about self-reinvention, we are not simply talking about making surface-level changes. We are talking about a radical shift in consciousness, a shift that moves us from living a life dictated by others to living a life defined by our own authentic desires and beliefs. This is the power of self-reinvention, and this is the journey we will explore together in the coming steps. Stoic philosophy and the importance of not being influenced by external forces. To truly understand the power of self-reinvention, we must delve into the timeless wisdom of Stoic philosophy. Stoicism, an ancient Greek school of thought, offers a profound and life-altering perspective on how to live a meaningful, empowered life. At the core of Stoicism is the belief that while we cannot control the events that occur around us, we can control how we respond to them. This powerful principle provides a solid foundation for anyone embarking on the journey of self-reinvention. In a world increasingly dominated by external influences, from social media to societal expectations, from the opinions of others to the constant barrage of distractions, the Stoic teaching becomes more relevant than ever. Stoics believe that the only true control we possess is over our own minds, our own perceptions, and our own actions. Everything outside of that is simply noise, a passing storm that we can choose to engage with or remain unaffected by. The Stoic philosopher Epictetus famously said, "Wealth consists not in having great possessions, but in having few wants." This quote encapsulates the essence of the Stoic approach to life. True freedom comes not from external accomplishments, but from internal mastery. The more we are attached to external outcomes, the opinions of others, our social status, material wealth, the more we become slaves to them. These external forces shape our self-worth, and in doing so, they rob us of our ability to live authentically. The modern world bombards us with messages telling us what we should want, who we should be, and how we should live. We are constantly told that success equals money, popularity, or power. But when we stop and reflect on these ideals, we begin to see that they are fleeting. These are the illusions that have been sold to us, often unconsciously, by the society in which we live. They are transient, subject to change, and ultimately, they cannot give us lasting peace or happiness. In contrast, the Stoics teach us to focus on what is truly within our control, our own actions and thoughts. Marcus Aurelius, the Stoic emperor, emphasized this point when he said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you will find strength." The Stoics believe that by mastering our internal world, our thoughts, our judgments, and our responses, we gain true power. External circumstances no longer have the ability to define us. We become immune to the noise around us, free to pursue the path that aligns with our true nature, without being swayed by external forces. Think about this for a moment. What would it feel like to live in a world where the opinions of others, the criticisms, the pressures, and the judgments no longer had the power to affect your inner peace? Imagine being able to walk through life with the quiet confidence that comes from knowing who you are, unaffected by the transient opinions and trends that dominate social culture. This is the power that Stoicism offers, the ability to live a life of genuine freedom, where your peace and sense of self-worth come not from what others think of you, but from the deep, unwavering understanding of your own intrinsic value. This doesn't mean rejecting society entirely or abandoning your connections with others. Rather, it means learning to live in harmony with the world, while maintaining your inner autonomy. It means understanding that while we live in a society that may influence us, we are not at the mercy of it. We are not defined by the roles we are given, nor by the labels others place on us. Stoicism teaches us to remain steadfast in our own values, to respond to challenges with equanimity, and to never let external circumstances dictate who we are. When we apply Stoic principles to self-reinvention, we are, in essence, learning to detach ourselves from the constant pressures of societal expectations. We are unchaining ourselves from the need for approval, and instead we are becoming our own judges. By practicing this art of detachment, we free ourselves to explore the deepest desires of our soul, without fear of judgment or rejection. The freedom that Stoicism offers is radical. It is a freedom that transcends the external world and grounds us firmly in the internal one. It's the freedom to choose who we want to be, not based on what others expect, but on what aligns with our true essence. By focusing on what we can control, our thoughts, our actions, and our reactions, we reclaim the power to shape our own lives. And this, my friends, is the ultimate form of self-reinvention. As we move forward, remember, every step of this journey requires us to embrace the Stoic mindset of focusing inward. The more we train ourselves to detach from the external, the more we unlock our potential to create a life of deep meaning, purpose, and peace. This is the path to true freedom, a freedom that cannot be taken away, no matter what the world throws at us. The Stoics taught that we must focus only on what is within our power, the choices we make, our responses to circumstances, and our ability to control our inner world. Everything else is secondary. Once we begin to internalize this, we begin to see that the need for external validation fades. The noise of the world becomes less important because we are no longer trying to impress anyone or fit into any mold. We are no longer seeking approval from a world that can never truly know us. Imagine, for a moment, living your life free from the need for approval. Imagine waking up each day, not driven by the pressure to be liked, admired, or accepted by others, but by the desire to live according to your own truth. This is the power of detachment, the ability to walk through life with a sense of calm and purpose, unaffected by the chaotic world around you. You are no longer at the mercy of social media algorithms, the opinions of your peers, or the pressures to conform. Instead, you are empowered by the quiet confidence that comes from within. The art of not caring is also about learning to filter out distractions. In our world of constant notifications, noise, and competition for our attention, it's easy to get lost in the noise. But to truly reinvent ourselves, we must become disciplined in choosing what we allow into our lives. Not every opinion is worth considering. Not every piece of information is worth our time. By practicing detachment, we begin to filter out the unnecessary, the trivial, and the superficial. We focus instead on what nourishes our soul, what aligns with our values, and what helps us grow. One of the most profound benefits of practicing the art of not caring is that it brings us closer to our own inner truth. When we are no longer constantly influenced by the opinions and expectations of others, we create the space to hear our own voice more clearly. We begin to understand what truly matters to us, not what society says should matter, but what aligns with our deepest values and desires. And this is where the true power of self-reinvention lies. It's not about changing who we are to fit the mold of others, but about uncovering the truest version of ourselves and living in alignment with that truth. The more we practice detachment, the more we realize that external validation is an illusion. It's a trap that keeps us stuck in a cycle of seeking approval, but never feeling truly fulfilled. We may get likes on a post or praise from others, but it never lasts. We may achieve success, but even that feels hollow if we're not living authentically. The only validation that truly matters is the one we give ourselves. When we stop seeking approval from the outside world and start living according to our own values and desires, we experience a deep sense of peace and freedom. The art of not caring then is not about rejecting the world, but about rejecting the world's influence over us. It's about learning to live with intention, focusing on what truly matters, and freeing ourselves from the relentless pursuit of external approval. As we embrace this practice, we find that we are not only able to reinvent ourselves, but we also become stronger, more resilient, and more aligned with our true purpose. And that ultimately is the path to true personal freedom. Humanistic Psychology of Carl Rogers and the Unconditional Love of Self. Now that we've explored the concept of Stoic detachment and the importance of not allowing the outside world to dictate who we are, we turn our attention to another crucial component of self-reinvention, the humanistic psychology of Carl Rogers. Rogers, one of the most influential figures in psychology, placed self-acceptance and unconditional love at the center of his theories. For Rogers, personal transformation could not occur without embracing these profound aspects of selfhood. Learning to love and accept ourselves without reservation or reliance on external validation. Carl Rogers believed that we all possess an innate potential for growth and self-actualization, but that potential can only be realized when we are able to accept ourselves as we truly are, without judgment or comparison. He described the process of personal growth as one of becoming more authentic, more fully ourselves. And in this journey of self-reinvention, the key to unlocking our deepest potential lies in unconditional self-love. In a world that often conditions us to seek approval from others, to measure our worth by external achievements or the opinions of others, Rogers' message is a radical and transformative one. True self-worth does not come from others, it comes from within. The first step towards self-reinvention is learning to love ourselves without conditions. This means accepting every part of ourselves, not just the parts we like or are proud of, but also the parts we might have been taught to hide, ignore, or feel ashamed of. Think about the way society often conditions us to believe that our worth is tied to external factors, success, popularity, appearance, or material wealth. From childhood, we are taught that we must prove our value to others through achievements, recognition, or fitting into predefined molds. As we grow older, these messages become ingrained in our minds. We begin to seek validation from others because we have internalized the belief that our worth depends on external approval. Self-love and personal development. Now that we've explored the significance of unconditional self-love, let's dive deeper into its role in personal development. Self-love isn't merely an emotional state or a temporary feeling, it is the foundation from which true personal development and lasting change are built. In many ways, self-love acts as the internal compass that guides us along the path of growth, helping us make decisions that are aligned with our core values and encouraging us to become the best versions of ourselves, not for anyone else, but for ourselves. In our pursuit of self-reinvention, there are two key concepts we must understand about the relationship between self-love and personal development: self-acceptance and self-motivation. Self-acceptance, as we've already discussed, is the process of embracing who we are in this moment, with all of our flaws and imperfections. It's about recognizing that we are enough as we are and not needing to change for anyone's approval. But self-love goes beyond mere acceptance. It's the active, continuous practice of nurturing and cultivating a healthy relationship with ourselves, no matter where we are in our journey. Self-love means choosing to invest in our growth, to support ourselves even when we fall short, and to forgive ourselves when we make mistakes. It's about being our own biggest cheerleaders, even when the world seems indifferent or critical. This kind of self-affirmation gives us the resilience to continue pushing forward despite obstacles or setbacks. It teaches us that failure is not something to fear, but something to learn from. When we love ourselves unconditionally, we understand that growth requires effort, patience, and sometimes even pain, but none of it diminishes our inherent worth. It only adds to our strength. Without self-love, we are often driven by external factors, validation from others, the desire to meet societal expectations, or a need for approval that can leave us feeling empty. But when we truly love ourselves, we shift the focus inward. We begin to seek validation from within, knowing that our worth is not dependent on anyone else's opinion or approval. This internal shift is what gives rise to authentic personal development. We are no longer motivated by the desire to conform or fit in. We are motivated by the desire to align our lives with our deepest values and passions. Self-love also plays a crucial role in cultivating self-discipline, the foundation of personal growth. It's easy to get lost in the noise of life, distracted by superficial goals and external pressures. But when we love ourselves, we develop the inner discipline to stay true to what really matters. We recognize that the path to personal development is not always easy, but we also know that it is worth it. We become willing to put in the hard work, take responsibility for our actions, and remain committed to our growth, even when it feels difficult. Self-love fuels the perseverance needed to push through the challenging moments in life, to keep going when the journey feels long and lonely. One of the most beautiful things about self-love is that it helps us set healthy boundaries. It teaches us how to say no when necessary, how to protect our energy, and how to prioritize our well-being. In a world that often demands more from us than we are capable of giving, self-love provides the wisdom to know our limits and to honor them. By setting boundaries, we ensure that we are taking care of ourselves, physically, emotionally, and mentally. We recognize that in order to grow, we must first take care of our own needs. And in doing so, we preserve the strength necessary to show up fully for the things and people that matter most. But perhaps the most profound way self-love impacts personal development is by shifting our perspective on challenges. Life is full of difficulties, obstacles, and setbacks. Yet, when we love ourselves, we view these challenges not as threats or insurmountable barriers, but as opportunities for growth. We learn to embrace discomfort, knowing that it is often through the most difficult experiences that we learn our most valuable lessons. The person who loves themselves knows that they can handle adversity with grace and resilience, because their self-worth is not tied to outcomes or success, but to their ability to face the challenge with courage. This leads us to the concept of self-empowerment. Self-love is the key that unlocks the door to taking full responsibility for our lives. It enables us to stop blaming external factors or circumstances for our struggles and to recognize that we have the power to change our lives. We stop waiting for others to validate us or change our situation. Instead, we take proactive steps to create the life we desire. We begin to believe in our own agency and our ability to make choices that align with our highest self, and in our capacity to transform our reality. In many ways, self-love is the ultimate form of self-empowerment. When we love ourselves, we recognize our inherent worth and capability. We stop seeking approval or permission from others, and we step into our own power. We understand that we are the creators of our own destinies and that the power to shape our lives lies within us. No external force can define us because we know who we are and what we are capable of achieving. As we continue to grow and develop, it's important to remember that self-love is not something that simply happens overnight. It's a lifelong practice, one that requires constant nurturing, attention, and care. But when we commit to loving ourselves unconditionally, we unlock the doors to a life of limitless possibilities. We embrace our strengths and weaknesses, knowing that they all contribute to the unique, powerful person we are becoming. Ultimately, self-love is the foundation of all true personal development. It is the source of our inner strength, the fuel for our progress, and the key to unlocking our fullest potential. When we love ourselves, we believe in ourselves, and when we believe in ourselves, we have the courage to become the person we were always meant to be. So, as you continue your journey of self-reinvention, remember that the path to becoming your best self begins with the love you give yourself. Cultivate this love, nurture it, and let it guide you as you create the life you've always dreamed of. The integration of self-love and Stoicism in daily life. Now that we've explored the profound power of self-love and Stoicism separately, the real magic happens when we begin to integrate these philosophies into our daily lives. The true transformation occurs not in isolated moments of reflection, but in how we apply these principles to our everyday actions, thoughts, and decisions. The integration of self-love and Stoicism offers a dynamic and powerful approach to living a life of true freedom and self-mastery. Self-love and Stoicism might seem like two distinct concepts, but in reality, they complement each other beautifully. While self-love invites us to accept ourselves unconditionally and nurture our personal growth, Stoicism provides us with the tools and mindset to navigate the challenges of life with grace, equanimity, and purpose. Together, they create a harmonious framework for living with intention, resilience, and authenticity. At the heart of integrating these two philosophies is the idea of accepting what we cannot control. In our daily lives, we are constantly bombarded by situations that are outside our control. Traffic delays, negative comments, unexpected challenges at work, or personal setbacks, all of these are external circumstances that are beyond our influence. Stoicism teaches us that while we cannot control these events, we can control our reactions to them. This is where self-love becomes invaluable. When we love ourselves unconditionally, we recognize that we are worthy and enough, regardless of external circumstances. This love allows us to face life's challenges without feeling diminished by them. When we integrate self-love with Stoic principles, we start to view life's difficulties as opportunities for growth, rather than threats to our self-worth. We understand that our true value is not defined by external events or the opinions of others, but by our ability to respond to life with calmness, clarity, and integrity. For example, imagine encountering a difficult situation at work where your effort is undervalued or your contributions are overlooked. If we approach this scenario from a place of external validation, we may feel demotivated, angry, or resentful. Our self-worth could take a hit, and we might allow the situation to dictate our emotional state. But when we integrate Stoic acceptance with unconditional self-love, we realize that while we cannot control the reactions of others, we can control how we respond. We remind ourselves that our worth is not dependent on others' recognition, and we approach the situation with grace and detachment. We can still stand up for ourselves, express our value, and move forward, but we do so without letting the experience erode our sense of self. This integration also plays a pivotal role in how we handle criticism. In our lives, we will inevitably face moments where others criticize or judge us. Whether it's from a colleague, a family member, or even a stranger, the sting of criticism can sometimes feel personal, even when it's not intended to be. The Stoic practice of indifference to external opinions can help us navigate this. By focusing on the things we can control, our responses, our actions, our mindset, we learn not to internalize criticism or let it determine our emotional state. At the same time, self-love helps us to view this criticism through a compassionate lens. We recognize that it does not diminish our worth or invalidate our identity. Criticism is simply an opportunity to grow, to learn, and to evolve, not a reflection of our intrinsic value. The integration of self-love and Stoicism also deeply impacts how we treat others. When we practice self-love, we cultivate empathy, kindness, and patience toward ourselves, which naturally extends to how we treat those around us. Stoicism teaches us the importance of virtue, living in alignment with wisdom, courage, justice, and temperance. By loving ourselves, we are more capable of extending that love to others in a meaningful way, fostering deeper, more authentic connections. Take a moment to consider how often we react out of frustration or anger when things don't go our way. It's easy to feel irritated by the actions of others, especially when we perceive them as obstructing our goals or desires. But through Stoic practice, we learn that people are often acting out of their own ignorance, fear, or misunderstanding. We are reminded that, just like us, others are striving to make sense of their own lives, and their actions do not have to impact our inner peace. By integrating self-love with Stoic detachment, we learn to act with patience and understanding. We stop reacting impulsively and start responding with calmness, choosing to act from a place of compassion and equanimity. As we move forward, integrating these practices in our daily lives also encourages mindful living. The Stoics were keenly aware of the fleeting nature of time. Marcus Aurelius, in his Meditations, often reflected on the brevity of life, reminding himself to live with intention and purpose. By combining this awareness with self-love, we recognize the preciousness of each moment. We understand that every day is an opportunity to be present, to align our actions with our values, and to cultivate a life of purpose. Mindful living also means that we prioritize self-care as a form of self-love. When we love ourselves unconditionally, we understand that taking care of our physical, mental, and emotional well-being is essential for our growth. It's not selfish to put ourselves first. In fact, it's necessary. By caring for ourselves, we ensure that we have the energy, resilience, and mental clarity to navigate life's challenges and to continue evolving into the best version of ourselves. One of the most profound aspects of this integration is the ability to practice gratitude. Stoicism encourages us to focus on what we already have, rather than constantly striving for more. This idea of contentment aligns beautifully with the practice of self-love. When we love ourselves, we are grateful for who we are and what we have. Gratitude becomes a powerful tool for shifting our mindset away from scarcity and toward abundance. It helps us focus on the positives in our lives, on the progress we've made, and on the blessings that surround us every day. So as we continue on our journey of self-reinvention, remember that the true power of Stoicism and self-love lies in their integration. When we combine the Stoic ability to accept what is beyond our control with the self-compassion of unconditional self-love, we create a foundation for a life of resilience, wisdom, and joy. Every challenge becomes an opportunity for growth, every setback a lesson, and every moment a chance to live authentically. This integration isn't something that happens overnight. It requires practice, patience, and dedication. But as we learn to live with intention, to embrace ourselves fully, and to respond to the world with grace, we unlock the profound freedom that comes from living in alignment with our highest self. And in doing so, we become the architects of our own transformation, creating a life that reflects our truest, most empowered essence. As we come to the end of our journey today, I want you to reflect on the powerful tools we've explored: self-love, Stoic philosophy, and the art of embracing your true self. These principles, though ancient and timeless, are just as relevant today as they were thousands of years ago. The road to self-reinvention is not easy, nor is it always linear. But it is one of the most rewarding paths you can walk. Remember, self-love is not a destination, it's a continuous journey. It is the quiet, unwavering belief that you are worthy of happiness, peace, and success, not because of what you achieve, but simply because you exist. It is the practice of embracing every part of yourself, even the parts you once thought unworthy of love. Stoicism, on the other hand, teaches us that while we cannot control the world around us, we have the power to shape our inner world, to choose how we respond to challenges, and to maintain our peace no matter what life throws at us. Together, these philosophies offer you the ultimate freedom, the freedom to be yourself, to live authentically, and to create a life that aligns with your true essence. But it's not enough to simply know these concepts. True transformation comes when we integrate them into our daily lives. Every small step you take towards self-love and Stoic resilience brings you closer to the person you are meant to become. It's not about perfection, it's about progress. Every time you choose self-acceptance over self-judgment, every time you detach from the opinions of others, every time you embrace your flaws and use them as fuel for growth, you are reinventing yourself. You are reclaiming your power. So I challenge you today, take a moment to reflect on your life. What parts of yourself are you still waiting to accept? What external influences are you still allowing to define you? How can you begin integrating these teachings into your daily routine? Start small, perhaps by practicing gratitude in the morning or taking a few moments each day to detach from the chaos and check in with yourself. Your journey of self-reinvention begins right now. I want to hear from you. How have you been incorporating Stoic philosophy or self-love into your life? What challenges are you facing and what steps are you taking to move forward? Share your thoughts and experiences in the comments below. I'd love to continue this conversation with you. And if you found this video helpful, don't forget to like and subscribe for more content like this. Together, let's continue to learn, grow, and transform. Remember, your journey is yours to create, and it begins with the belief that you are already enough. Thank you for being here and for taking this important step toward a better, more authentic version of yourself.